It seems that with the video game Red Dead Redemption 2, there seems to be a resurgence of interest in all the things Wild West. On Netflix, they showed the trending having the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. And this is a movie that tells 6 different tales about the American frontier in the days of the Wild West. This movie is a full feature film running a little over 2 hours. It was written by the Coen brothers, the same Coens that brought you No Country for Old Men and Fargo. That being said, there are some scenes with extreme violence, so of course, viewer discretion is advised. This film has an outstanding cast. Liam Neeson, James Franco, Tom Waits, Tim Blake Nelson, Tyne Daly, and Brendan Gleeson, just to name a few. The film is listed as a dark comedy, and at first I didn't think that this was kind of a proper listing for it. Yes, it's quirky, it's absurd, and at times it is dark, but I watched a couple of the stories again, and yes, it is very dark humor. I think my mind was in a different mindset when I first pushed the play button on this movie, but it totally just left me with strange feelings that I wasn't really expecting to have. So yeah, it's very much a dark comedy. I was so very thrown off by the first story. As soon as the singing cowboy in his blinding white hat appeared on screen, I thought I had the movie already figured out. Boy, was I wrong. Turns out he's a sing-songing serial killer. He could get a crowd of witnesses hooting and hollering to music even after murdering a man in cold blood. Well, no ill deeds go unmet in the West, and the white hat wearing cowboy songbird gets his in the end. That's the first story, and it certainly left an uneasy feeling in my stomach. The next 5 stories are unsettling in various degrees. The second story seemed as a man's life was just a waste. He never made a difference in good or bad. The third story is of a traveling freak show, entertainment for the people. A man without arms or legs sits and recites pieces of history and literature. His boss/caretaker is played by Liam Neeson. As time marches on, though, the crowds thin, and the freak orator loses his value as an act. What will the boss/caretaker do? This story was most bitter in ending. Story 4 is of a quirky old prospector looking for his friend, Mr. Pocket. The 5th story left me feeling so haunted. The story of Miss Longabaugh leads you in one direction, and just as things seem to wrap up in a nice ribbon, the Coens jump in with one of their sobering twists of fate. The 6th story I'll leave just as a wonderful surprise. This movie was not what I expected. Granted, at first, I didn't even realize who wrote the movie. It appeared a fun and happy little movie from the opening and title screens. I never thought I'd still be thinking of the outcome to some of these stories the next day.
And I with throats burned dry and souls that cry for water, cool, clear water.
Honestly, when I first started watching it, I started watching it because I actually felt like wanting to watch a comedy, and it literally looked like a comedy from the way it was like laid out on Netflix. So I didn't even know that it was by the Coen brothers. Honestly, I stopped after like the third or 4th story. Or no, the 5th story. I stopped watching and I looked up the movie, and that's when I realized that it was by the Coen brothers. And I remembered who the Coen brothers were, because it didn't click in my head who they were at first when I saw that it was by them. So I had to look it up and see who they were and what they did before in the past. So it makes sense. The movie makes sense that it's by them. So anyway, this movie gets my rating of 2.5 turkeys in honor of Thanksgiving. So anyway, that's it. You guys want to watch it? It's really good. It's so good, actually. Again, it's called The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's available again on Netflix. And I hope you guys have a really safe and happy Thanksgiving if you guys do celebrate it. Otherwise, there's a lot of people out there these next 2 weeks that are not going to have anything to do. A lot of kids out there, teenagers and everybody. So everybody, please be safe. And if you haven't done so already, please be kind, subscribe, be the light, and hit the like. It'd be so swell if you hit the bell. Alright, talk to you guys next time in the next video. Have fun. Bye.